Ramesh Balsekar was a master of Advaita Vedanta and a disciple of Nisargadatta Maharaj. In Consciousness Speaks, he presents his view on non-duality through enlightening dialogues with disciples and spiritual seekers. The book emphasizes that consciousness is the only reality and that the sense of individuality is an illusion created by the conditioned mind. Throughout the text, Balsekar dismantles deep-rooted beliefs about the self, free will, and separation, guiding the reader toward a deeper understanding of existence. The illusion of the self, Balsekar teaches that there is no separate self making decisions and controlling life. The concept of non-duality suggests that everything happens spontaneously in consciousness without a personal agent. The ego, according to him, is merely a conditioned reflection of the mind, which falsely assumes responsibility for actions. He uses everyday examples to illustrate how choices are merely the result of pre-existing factors and acquired conditioning throughout life. Thus, the idea of a separate doer is refuted, showing that life unfolds by itself without an individual controller. Consciousness as the only reality. For Balsekar, all experience occurs within consciousness, and there is no individual doer. Consciousness manifests itself through countless forms and expressions, yet they are all part of the same essence. He emphasizes that the mind, in trying to understand this, creates unnecessary complexities, when in reality, everything is extremely simple. There is only consciousness experiencing itself. The idea of separation is an illusion generated by thought and identification with the body and mind. Furthermore, he argues that emotions, thoughts, and actions arise spontaneously, and the belief that we do something is merely a mental habit. This understanding can lead to a profound liberation as it dissolves the burden of guilt, regret, and anxiety about the future. The illusion of separation. The author explains that the mind creates the illusion of separation by identifying with the body and personality. However, this identity is merely a collection of memories and conditioning. The realization that everything is an expression of the same consciousness dissolves this illusion and brings freedom. He often uses metaphors to convey this idea, such as the analogy of the wave and the ocean. Waves may appear distinct, but they are made of the same water and were never truly separate from the ocean. Balsekar emphasizes that this realization does not need to be achieved through effort or complicated spiritual practices. On the contrary, it is a direct and simple recognition that can happen at any moment when the mind stops seeking and simply perceives the truth of what is. Surrender and acceptance. One of the central pillars of Balsekar's teaching is the unconditional acceptance of life as it unfolds. He argues that suffering arises from resistance to reality and that spontaneous acceptance of events leads to inner peace. In his talks, he frequently says that the mind creates suffering by judging and resisting what is. However, when it is understood that everything happens according to consciousness and there is no separate doer, this resistance disappears. This surrender does not mean passivity or resignation, but rather a serene acceptance of life as it is. When this understanding deepens, internal conflicts disappear and a state of freedom and peace emerges. Free will and destiny. Balsekar directly challenges the belief in free will, arguing that all human actions are determined by previous causes and the natural flow of existence. The individual does not control their thoughts, emotions, or decisions. They simply arise as part of the functioning of consciousness. This understanding can be unsettling at first, but when fully accepted, it brings immense relief. He explains that the idea of destiny should not be confused with fatalism. Instead of seeing life as a set of predetermined events, He suggests that everything happens spontaneously and inevitably within consciousness. This means there is no need for guilt or pride since no one is truly in control. The role of the guru. Balsekar also discusses the role of the guru or spiritual teacher. For him, the guru is not someone who grants enlightenment to another, but a medium through which understanding can happen. The true teaching is not in the guru's words, but in the direct experience of consciousness by the disciple. He demystifies the idea that the guru is a separate entity with special powers, emphasizing that the guru is simply another manifestation of the same universal consciousness. Conclusion. The central teaching of Consciousness Speaks is that consciousness is the only reality and that the notion of a separate self is an illusion. By abandoning identification with the ego and accepting life as it manifests, freedom and peace become evident. The book invites the reader to perceive this truth directly without the need for effort or endless seeking. Balsekar dismantles ingrained concepts about the self, control, and separation, offering a clear and liberating perspective on existence. His teaching does not aim to create followers, but rather to point to the truth that has always been present, waiting to be recognized. Consciousness Speaks as an invitation to abandon the illusions of the mind and simply rest in the reality of what is. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. What did you think of this content? Share your opinion in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, take this opportunity to subscribe, leave a like, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next videos. See you next time.